What if the world only had one leader? Imagine a world where the myriad nations, with their unique cultures, political systems, and ideologies, are united under a single global leader. Of course, this idea of having a single global leader is quite impossible, especially in the kind of world we are living in now. In fact, with all the global tensions, territorial disputes, and wars that we are experiencing today, it is hard to imagine that every country in the world would agree to this idea. But let's just say that they agreed. All of a sudden, all the leaders say, "Okay, I'm tired of this. Let's unite and elect one leader." What do you think would happen? Could it bring peace or more chaos? And what do you think the nationality of the potential one leader could probably be? Welcome to the Grand Line Media and the world with only one leader.
They are summoning.
То есть ответ может быть.
Before we continue diving into this topic, let's take a few moments to consider if it's possible or not. Actually, this idea was inspired by one religion. Anyway, I don't want to disclose the name of this religion to avoid any religious debate in the comments section because that's not the intention of this channel. Grand Line Media is all about geography, economy, history, and geopolitics. But then again, for the sake of this topic, I want to mention this belief of this particular religion. Basically, they are saying that one day there will be a so-called Armageddon. Armageddon is a global event wherein God will end our current world, in short, the end of the world. But the earth will not actually perish. It will just reset to zero. And the world will be governed by just one leader. That leader is the Son of God. Okay, so in the minds of people who believe in that, the world is bound to have a single global leader. But what about in our current real world? Well, all nations around the world must agree that they will unite under one leader. One leader means one government, and one government means one system and law. And if you think about it, that would be great, right? Because every single person around the world would just follow the same rules. But wait, who could be this leader? If the selection of this leader is based on the voting system around the world, then potentially, this leader could be from China or India, because these two nations have the largest populations in the world. China has 1.4 billion citizens, and India is very close to that. Obviously, America wouldn't agree to this.
Wait, what about me?
As a matter of fact, the rest of the world would not agree to the voting system. I think the right way to select one leader is to put every representative of all nations into competition. This competition would consist of different sets of contests, each contest signifying strength, intelligence, capability, decision-making, and other important qualities to become a good leader. Whoever wins in that competition will be the leader. Now someone won, and now we have a single global leader chosen. What next? We need to choose what kind of government it will be. Democratic or Republican will be the top choice here, because the majority of the people around the world don't want to have a monarchy, dictator, or other type of government where the leader has absolute power. People love freedom. Anyway, so far, everything is fine. The chosen leader agreed that he will never abuse his power and will do everything to maintain fairness in the world. He or she promised that every country, culture, ethnicity, belief, and need of every human being in the world will be addressed equally. So let's just say the chosen one is actually a very good leader who fulfills his or her promise. What would be the benefits of having a single good and not corrupt global leader? Well, the first thing that will drastically improve is the unity of every country. Since we have only one leader to follow, most likely every war going on in some nations will stop. Like I said, it is only a probability. After all, not all people will be happy to follow the chosen leader, so they might raise a coup d'etat that would lead to a global civil war. But let's say no one complains. Let's say everybody follows. Then peace will be felt eventually. And because the chosen leader is actually a good human and genuinely wants to serve the people, the distribution of resources will be given equally. The wealth of every nation will be balanced. But then again, I'm just being optimistic. But in reality, it is really hard to achieve even if the chosen one is a good leader. You see, the world is so big to be governed by a single person. He needs help. He just has the authority, but he needs people that will work for him. Just compare it to your nation. You have one president, but your country has many government officials below the president. But in this case, it will be a very big government. If you know a manga series called One Piece, you will instantly understand what I am saying. In the world of this anime, there is only one government in the world, called the world government. But in every nation, there are still leaders or kings that are directly and indirectly working for the world government. Despite having one government, the nations have different situations. Some are wealthy and some are suffering from hunger. And that's because the distribution of help and resources is not equal. And actually, the leader in that government is a bad guy. But in our case, let's say we have a good leader, but what about the government officials below that leader? What if they are not good? Then, like in the world of One Piece, our world will be just like that. There will be unbalanced wealth distributions in the world. What's worse is, what if the chosen leader is a bad one? Then everything will be chaos. Like in One Piece, the leaders are bad and are actually manipulating the world. That would be exactly how our world would turn out if the leader we have is a bad dude. The chosen one will abuse his power, making laws and decisions based only on his own interest, and that will make the world even more chaotic. Okay, I think having a single global leader is not a good idea, right? At least in the current world we have, and with human nature, where greed is more powerful than kindness. I think for now it is better to have separate nations and separate leaders. But then again, having a single leader and single government will be a dream only if that single leader is powerful enough to govern the entire world. And by saying powerful, I am talking about literal power. Because you see, the chaos in the world we have now can't be solved without divine intervention. Believe me, greed is humanity's biggest weakness.